Alrighty, so this is going to be pretty bright because I got the lights on so I can read, and it's slightly a little bit different than the after hours thing. But anyways, this is our first installment of the ATA after hours style. Let's see how this goes. So I've got these little sheets. You're going to see in a little bit. I made these little footnotey things. You'll see these tiny little superscript, yellow highlighted in bold font, full bold type. You'll see. Anyways, here we go, and see how it goes. Hopefully, it goes well. All right. And yeah, I wanted to kind of keep it separate actually for now, so that way I can have it like a separate playlist. So if someone wants to go and take a look at the ATA separately, you can. Here we go. Berlin's latest news. Friday, April 20th, 1917, the evening edition, a successful counterattack in Champagne. The new thrust shattered 30 divisions in the battle. The French offensive comes no further. The wireless report from our war correspondent in the field. The long prepared... Ooh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit pause because I forgot to do a bit of spell checking. Hold on. All right, I think I did it. The wireless report from our war correspondent in the field. The long-prepared breakthrough offensive that with the powerful means of the entire Entente, and that is now being led and performed in large part by the French, has not achieved the hopes of our enemies, not even in a reduced form in this period of time. If one would choose to view the picture as it really appears, that individual would see that we have held on to all of our positions at this juncture of the war behind our barbed wire obstacles. The picture we can draw about the third day of the battle of this battle is as follows. And I popped that in because if you remember, the Nivelle offensive was only supposed to go on for 48 hours and he was going to call it off. And already we're in day 3. The duration of the heaviest artillery battles had the effect of exhausting all the advanced thrusts of the French infantry and resulted in hard, close combat at various positions where the enemy's superiority in numbers did not give them success at any point along the line. I swear to God, this sounds the exact flip, like the exact reverse of the English bits of talking about how the Germans were getting exhausted, pouring into their reserves to try to stem the flow of the British up north. Interesting. The French repeated these assaults in a partial way near allies Cerny, Crayon, and in the Champagne, with special activity by Auberiff that failed everywhere without exception. The rage they projected that was on display at our forward battle positions at l'Abbaye-en-Bois, we have fought to a standstill in response. And I put in the number 2 there for the rage they projected. What is this actually specifically referred to? Is that about the initial French confidence and morale of the troops going in there? Is it about revenge for the Franco-Prussian War? Are they alluding to that a little bit? Is it about the intense artillery barrage that precluded the infantry? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. In our counterattacks, we've made those aggressors prisoners and have taken their mortars and rifles with bayonets as well. An assault on Fort Brimont failed after long days of artillery barrages. There, the enemy lost many soldiers killed in action and 94 soldiers wounded in action. Wu Shuerman, embedded war correspondent. And I put that in because I was like, when did the term embedded war correspondent first appear? Anybody know? I'd like to know. From our headquarters, the higher headquarters, 20th of April, the Western Theater of War, the army of Crown Prince Ruprecht. On the battlefield of Arras, the activity of the artillery fire has incrementally increased. The army of the German Crown Prince, the occupation that began on March 16th and has been exploited by the long reach of the enemy, has been halted on the Siegfried line. Yesterday, northeast of Soissons, the weapons fire occurred along the banks of the Ain between Condé and Soupir. The enemy's response was weakened by their hesitations. And I just put, what a great line. I just think that I just love that. It just makes me think for a while about the enemy's response was weakened by their hesitations, which is just fascinating. The twinned battles on the Ain and in the Champagne has continued along the ridge of the Chemin des Dames. The heavy artillery battle is also ongoing. Near Bray-Cerny, and with the actions of great massed units on both sides of Crayon, where the French regiments that have arrived here have been ground up in futile attempt to win the high point, suffering great losses. Despite the already unsuccessful attacks by the French in the area of the siege of Brimo, they renewed their attacks yesterday afternoon. The newly employed French divisions assaulted in waves to the front of our positions on the Aisne-Marne Canal for a 15th time with bloody results. And I just put 15 times the French assaulted the same position. Is this true? This is nuts if it is. And then the Russians were also thrown into this line of fire in another futile attempt. I just put that in because here we are again, but it's from the other side, talking about the Russians being on the Western Front still, even though they got troops there, but they know what's happening at home. The troops of our 16th Division, which are stationed there, are still the masters of the field. In Champagne, the battle was actively being fought in the forest region between the street of Thierry-Noret and around the region of Oberif. In a splendid counterattack, we pushed back the enemy forces who, the day before yesterday, were moving forward. We retook, with our well-led troops, all the ground that the enemy had recently taken from us in close combat. A second attempt by the French to break through in the Champagne has been thoroughly thwarted. In this effort, the French command had employed 30 divisions on both battlefields. And I'd like to know, is this true? If it is true, holy smokes, as far as I'm concerned, the Germans, yet again, there's another indication that they are well informed of what the French have got and what they have in store for the Germans. Fascinating. They were sent here after the termination of the Battle of the Somme, for this breakthrough attack had been intensively drilled for this hoped-for march to victory. And then again, I put in 8 for number 8. The Germans seem awfully well informed about what's been going on. All these things that the French have pinned their hopes on have not been fulfilled, which is absolutely true, as we know. I mean, they were like, even remember Ribot there was worried his government was going to collapse and gave the green light to Neville's thingamabob. The army group of Crown Duke Albrecht, no meaningful actions to report. The Eastern Theater of War. Yesterday, the Russian artillery fire stopped in many sectors. There's nothing to report about the activity of the infantry. Macedonian front, on the Cernastina, the French have failed to recover the portion of the ground that they had lost to the German and Bulgarian troops on the 17th of April, the day after the Neville offensive. The first general quartermaster, Ludendorff. The U-boat war, number 9. I just put down here, what do we make on how the Germans report on how the U-boat campaign is going? I'm just bringing that out. The Danish Foreign Ministry related to a telegram message from the Danish ambassador to London after the Danish steamer Robert, 1,445 tons, was sunk while underway to England. 12 men, one of them who had been severely wounded, were rescued and delivered to Kirkwall. 7 of the crew had been killed. Further telegram from the London embassy told of the Danish steamer Bretagne, 1,110 tons, underway from England to Copenhagen, with a shipment of coal, had also been sunk in the North Sea. The crew was rescued. 8 crew members landed in Peterhead. The rest of the crew, the ship's captain, were taken to Aberdeen. The Danish Foreign Ministry related. The Danish consul in Barcelona reported that the Danish 3-masted schooner Angzar, 301 tons, with a shipment of wood from America to Spain, was set on fire in the Mediterranean Sea. The crew has been taken to Barcelona. Madrid, 17th of April. Wireless report from the representative of the K&K Correspondence Bureau. The Impartial reported the southwest of Huelva on the 14th of April, the Portuguese steamer Fres de Mas, underway from Lisbon to Gibraltar, was sunk by a U-boat. In Tangier, those shipwrecked when the Italian steamer Giuseppe di Cama, 4,000 tons, was sunk by a U-boat on the 13th of April, northwest of Tangier, landed at that port. The crew of that steamer had observed the same U-boat that sank their ship had torpedoed a troop and animal transport steamer of 8,000 tons that had gone under the waves in minutes. Brought in as a prize, Hamburg, 19th of April. On Thursday, the Norwegian steamer Norden was brought to port as a prize. it had been determined that it had definitely had been carrying a shipment meant for our enemies in Cuxhaven. Berlin's latest news, Saturday, 21st of April, 1917, the evening edition. Aha, now we're getting into the good stuff. Well, for me. A new victory for the Turks at Gaza. The Second Battle of Gaza has been won. Not according to the British. The destruction of a cruiser of the Foxglove class. Constantinople, 20th of April. Official army report, Sinai front. After the night of the 18th to the 19th of April, this front appeared to be calm. Then yesterday, the Second Battle of Gaza began about 5 in the morning. Lively artillery fire bombarded the city. Soon after that, the first enemy reconnaissance movement was detected when a heavy fog that had hindered our view lifted, clearing the air. Towards 8 o'clock in the morning, the enemy infantry attack began. On both sides of the street leading to Gaza, an enemy division assaulted our positions. I just put that in because I'm like talking about the Second Battle of Gaza and the mentioning of enemy divisions. Are these really divisions? I think the Turks are stretching this. I mean, exaggerating a bit much. We'll see, but I mean, what do they mean by a division? Is maybe there, you know what I mean? A second division turned up against the middle section of our line in the southeast of Gaza. I don't think what I mean of a division is what I'm trying to say. The enemy cavalry that seemed to have hesitated in joining the attack now moved against the right wing of our group of defenders that held our left wing. During this movement, an enemy armored car was destroyed. Up until noon, the battle was fought along the entire line. Everything was in full motion, especially the action against both of our groups in the right wing. Despite taking great losses, the enemy did not have any success and did not come nearer than 800 meters to our positions. In the afternoon, around 3 p.m., the group in our middle had already rebuffed 2 enemy attacks. After a third attack, with consideration to the devastation to their rank, the enemy had to pull back. The situation turned so much in our favor that a counteroffensive thrust against the enemy's right wing could be initiated. Around 7 p.m. in the evening, our middle group had rejected a third attack on their enemy position, resulting in heavy losses for the enemy. All positions around Gaza were now firmly in our hands. On the left wing, our cavalry pushed the enemy's cavalry away. Now, earth calling, I don't think I need to explain why I have a little footnotey thing there for this one. On the left wing, our cavalry pushed the enemy's cavalry away. This is 1917. I know we're not on the Western Front, but still, we haven't seen this much very often. Well, maybe a little bit up in the Balkans area with the Bulgarians and whatnot. But cavalry versus cavalry, pretty cool. It became evident that an unstoppable retrograde route was happening on the right wing of the enemy. I know why I have number 12 for that, because I just think it's yet again another freaking awesome line. Retrograde route. That is so cool. In the later evening hours, the left wing of our infantry joined with the cavalry division. Probably not a cavalry division. So now that's maybe giving up the ghost there for the other bit up there. Means maybe a unit to attack our weakened enemy. Mind you, division sounds a hell of a lot more powerful than unit. Even in the darkness, all signs pointed to a complete enemy retreat. Unless, of course, I don't know what you got between your whatevers. From the other Turkish war fronts, there have been no special results. One of our U-boats in the eastern Mediterranean Sea sank 2 sailing ships as a small English cruiser, probably of the, I think it would be Foxglove class. I'm going with that sunk 40 nautical miles west of Alexandria. It is and that's it. And I think you did, and which we'll talk about a bit later. And I think that went pretty darn good. All right, see ya.